poppin', everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Palkia VSTAR with Area 0 Underdepths. In Stellar Crown, Palkia is coming back because Area 0 is going to give us a full 8 on our bench. And our opponent too. That can make for some really big damage when it comes to subspace. Well, if that sounds like a really interesting deck, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into the deck list. So the list that we're going to be looking over is the version that Callie played to a top cut finish out of nearly 100 players at an online event, and the list credits I believe go to Cyrus, our very own TSS player. Our goal is to really get Palkia set up with a bunch of Pokemon on our bench so we can hit hard with subspace well. We still have that ability that allows us to accelerate energies into play, and that's one of those cool things that we have when it comes to different attackers, such as attacking with Palkia, attacking with Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, attacking with Radiant Greninja. And you might be like, why do we have all these colorless Pokemon in this deck? Well, we have Fan Rotom that allows us to get Pokemon onto our bench, and with Area 0, we just have to have either a Terapagos or a Wellspring Mask in play because they do have that Terra kind of type Pokemon on their card. So we have that option to use that Area 0, gain our large bench, and we want to fill it up with something. So Noctowl allows us to search out pieces, and in this case, we've also added in Blissey EX. Now, Blissey EX doesn't seem like it fits in well at first, but we are able to move energies that we acquire from Glass Trumpets, and we can move them around wherever we want once per turn to maybe get an extra Radiant Greninja per turn, maybe a different Wellspring Mask, or just accelerate to different Pokemon. Standard supporter line of just using Irida to search out our Pokemon, Boss to bring up our opponent's Pokemon, and a variety of different Pokemon items and trainers that we can really search out with Noctowl. The Dusclops is really to give us that extra bit of damage in case we can't knock out our opponent's Pokemon, so it's something really to consider there. I think overall this list is really interesting. There's going to be many ways to play Palkia. I know I've ran into a few that play Pidgeot EX on the ladder, a few that run a bunch of different techs, but this is like a great early metagame start. I mean, we don't have the set legal until September 27th, so right now it's just online events. Everyone's kind of testing things out, and decks like Palkia, although we've seen success with them before, they're brand new when it comes to all the different cards that we're adding in here to make them work. The list is available in the description for copy and paste right into PTCG Live, and if you need the cards for this deck or any of the decks, check out Kayfabe Cards, our sponsor. They support Shuffle Squad. They have a large selection of cards, and they ship pretty much anywhere. We also have our sponsor at PTCGL store if you're trying to get any code cards to build these decks online. That being said, I want to show off some gameplay. Win or lose, we'll see exactly what this deck can do. So we actually started this game off losing the coin flip, but our opponent's letting us go first. That's completely fine. Let's get set up here with some Pokemon on our bench. I think I'm pretty close to just going Squawkabilly as one. And I just want to try to get set up as much as possible. So let's go Squawkabilly. I think I want to go for Nest Ball, going for a Fan Rotom. So that's going to get us out a couple Hoot-Hoots. And then I'm also going to go ahead and get these energies in our discard pile. And the reason why I want them in our discard pile is so that we're able to get them back with Star Portal. So I feel pretty okay about this star getting a few things out. I just have to be careful when it comes down to it. Like, I'm going to hold on to the Fan Rotom, keep it there, not utilizing it yet. I'm trying to get the Terapagos, because if we don't get out a Terra Pokemon, we could find ourselves in a tough spot. So maybe we could have grabbed the Terapagos instead. That's okay. Still just going to go for a Fan Call here. Fan Call, searching our deck for just the one Hoot-Hoots instead of just grabbing out the two. Could have maybe put down the other one in my hand too. That would have been fine. That's definitely one of those things where could have grabbed the other one, maybe getting out the Capturing Aroma, but we're gonna go ahead here and pass. Start's not super fantastic, but what we're really looking towards is using Noctowl to get set up if we're able to get a Terra Pokemon in play. Capturing Aroma here could be that Terra Pokemon if we are able to get a Tails to get out a basic Pokemon. That's going to allow us to kind of get this next big turn going on, and maybe we can attack with Palkia VSTAR for some damage. Maybe we're playing against a Turbo Roaring Moon deck. Really hoping this Palkia ends up surviving the turn through Pokemon Catcher, Prime Catcher, all that good stuff. So nothing terrible here. Really just looking for either a Nest Ball, anything that can allow us to kind of get this Noctowl off the ground so we can start searching for everything that we potentially want to be searching for. There's that Pokemon Catcher and Tails. Okay, so far we are surviving. Yeah, I think it might have actually, instead of going for the fan rotom, it might have been better for me to go for the Terapagos just to get a little bit of a better setup. I would have not necessarily grabbed the Hoothoot there, so it could have been interesting. More or less, I don't actually know which one would be better. Let me know in the comments which one you think is better in terms of getting Pokemon. Like, we needed a Squawkabilly to get off the ground. We needed a Palkia because that's our main attacker. Is it better to grab the Terapagos first or the card that could potentially grab it? And we'll see if we're punished or not. We really just need to get something off the ground here. And really that something off the ground is going to largely just be a Tails. Looks like our opponent, did they use Squawkabilly already? Okay, they have not used Squawkabilly. Now, one thing that might be tough for our opponent here is they have not put down another Roaring Moon. So when it comes to Dark Patch and stuff like that, and they can only Dark Patch on their bench, not on their active. So they need to get their Roaring Moon on the bench, Dark Patch, and play a Petulant EX. I think we might actually be surviving this one, y'all. And they did bring up the Palkia, so at the very least, we could attack with our Palkia if we don't get knocked out. And it looks like their opportunities of kind of like just attacking are not really like it's looking lower and lower and lower as their hand depletes. They still could maybe pull off a miracle with Professor Sada's, but it's not looking very likely the way they sent up their bench. They want to have this Pokemon on the bench. This can always bring it up with Subjugating Chains. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. Looks like our opponent might have actually fully missed all their energies when it comes down to it. So we just gotta kind of hope. Okay, they have the Professor Sada's, so again, looks like they might be able to power up 2 energies, but not really getting to that point where they're able to get there. Since they didn't power this one up with an energy, they'd have to go Dark Patch in order to get there. Now, I don't know if our opponent used Radiant Greninja or not yet. Probably can check through here. They did use Concealed Card, so when in doubt, always check through kind of the battle log that's right over there. There's their Dark Patch. Yeah, so if they sent up basically anything else, they would have got the knockout. They still can get it with Dark Patch, Attach, Subjugating Chains. But other than that, I think we're okay. Our opponent having a full bench is 60, 60. Plus the 60, so 120. Okay, sick. We actually got the Nest Ball, so this is just gonna solve all our problems immediately. Let's go Nest Ball, search our deck for in this case, I think that Terapagos might be a little bit better, so that we're able to attack with Terapagos. Now we can use Noctowl. Noctowl is going to get us our area 0 underdepths. So everything ended up working out. This is going to allow us to have our bigger bench. And of course we want to go for Irida. Irida can grab a water Pokemon, and it can also grab like an earthen vessel. So we're able to kind of get more things set up. So let's go Palkia VSTAR. We can evolve there. We're doing 260, so that's more than enough to get the knockouts. And I think what we want to be doing here is just using Irida, search for the Radiant Greninja, and I think I just want to get Earthen Vessel, so I'm not using as many energies if that's possible. Let's go Area 0 Underdepths, and let's go Radiant Greninja. Let's go Earthen Vessel, discarding this Dusclops, because I don't think we'll need it in this matchup. We're gonna grab a couple of waters just so we could draw a little bit less of those. And before we do anything, I want to use glass trumpets. You can search up for 2 of your benched colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from our discard pile to each of them. We have our 2, so we'll maybe just wait because that's coming from our discard pile. I wouldn't mind grabbing a Blissey EX if that's possible, but let's see what concealed cards brings to the table first. So let's try to go for capturing Aroma. We're either going to get a basic Pokemon or we're going to get heads, which is going to allow us to attack with use Blissey. So this is really where things can kind of change up for the best when it comes down to it. We can avoid using the Palkia VSTAR's ability, and we can kind of get set up on our bench. We can also get our other Pokemon set up because this is 30 times the amount of your bench Pokemon. So when it comes down to it, we could keep the Palkia VSTAR the way we want. I think it's actually better for us to power up the Palkia VSTAR with 2 energies, using Glass Trumpet on this Terapagos, and then attaching one for our turn. That to me makes the most sense because our Palkia is just gonna get knocked out by Frenzied Gouging, which means we just want to use Star Portal, and we will grab the 2 energies. Might as well just attack to the Radiant Greninja here so we don't need to use the Glass Trumpets. I can attach one for my turn, so we're kind of set up with another attacker. And I mean, Blissey like could attack. We can always maybe power up Blissey. You wanna know what? I am gonna go Happy Switch just from 1 energy from the Terapagos to the Blissey. So giving me the opportunity to kind of fix where I think I want the energies. Since this requires 3 energies, I can always attach, and I can always move an energy with Happy Switch next turn. I can always attach and use one with Happy Switch the next turn. So let's go ahead here. We're going to go Subspace Well, knock out on our opponent's Roaring Moon EX. And we're pretty good here. Like, we took the first 2 prize cards against an aggressive deck. Should be as simple as that. And, I mean, we have the Area 0. If our opponent does go for Frenzied Gouging, we can respond back with our fan Rotom being an aggressive attacker in this situation. 70 is not a lot, but it is enough when your opponent only has 10 HP left. So Palkia, pretty cool setup here. And I mean, the Blissey giving us some options. Maybe you want to get an attack with Return. We could hit for 180 on a Squawkabilly EX. But really we're using it for kind of unlimited energy switch with Glass Trumpets being the interesting choice. Yeah, I kind of like Palkia. I played Palkia to a handful of tournaments. I day 2'd the North American International Championships back, I want to say in 2023, I think 2022, 2023, with the deck when it first came out. Have a few decent runs at regionals, the top 32 in Warsaw, Poland with Palkia. So I like Palkia a lot. Actually a handful of day 2. So I'm kind of excited to have my my Palk back in formats. So our opponent looks like they're set up for knockout. We really just need to kind of push ourselves to kind of get set up around here. There's our Pokemon catcher. I don't know which Pokemon they're going to go after. They could go after the Terapagos, which would be kind of interesting. That would shut down our Area 0 underdepths for what it's worth. By not having the Pokemon on our field. So, I mean, Palkia seems like a really good attacker. Don't know why they're going after Squawkabilly. Maybe it's just so they could use Calamity Storm. Terapagos, I guess it's the same thing, so they don't need to use Calamity Storm. We're just going to send back our Palkia in this case. So, while our opponent is able to kind of take that away, and I mean, they did discard a Stadium, we are going to discard some other things that I don't care about. We don't need this Noctowl anymore. It did its purpose, and we're back on track for hitting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 80, 140, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe this is 240 damage that we're hitting for. So yeah, 240. When it comes down to it, I think what I want to do here is put in areas before I do anything else. Actually, I think I should just use concealed cards. That at least allows me to activate Glass Trumpets. We do have a Night Stretcher, so when it comes to Night Stretcher, I'm just going to grab back a Hoothoot because I have a Noctowl in my hand. I don't know if there's much else that I need to be doing. I can always, if they ever knock out the Palkia, that's completely fine. Let's go Area 0 here. And I have another energy, so let's go ahead and use Glass Trumpets. Glass Trumpet will put the energy right there. I'm going to go ahead and attach an energy from my hand over to... I might as well attach the Blissey. I think that seems fair because we can always move the energy to the Terapagos. So that sounds really cool. We are hitting for 260. And I think I'm going to keep the Noctowl in my hand because it does allow us to get a boss or a prime catcher or anything that we need to win the game. Whereas Iono might not have a Noctowl or all those cards necessary. So let's go ahead. Let's use Subspace well. We're going to, again, bring ourselves down to another 2 prize cards. It looks like it's going to be a simple 2-2-2 prize trade-off. That's really what we're looking for here. And there's a boss in hand too, so if our opponent does not knock out Palkia, we have boss, happy switch, return knockout on Squawkabilly. So we should be in the clear here. I think we're actually gonna just take an easy dub, cross the board, playing against a deck that came second at Worlds, right? So I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you played against a non-meta deck, Zach, or oh, you lost the game. In this case, we played against a very meta deck, playing a unique build of Palkia by one of the best players in the world, Cyrus Davis, 2023 North American International Champion, member of the Shuffle Squad. So it's really one of those things where I'm just kind of really excited to kind of showcase this deck profile. Definitely one of the bigger decks coming out from Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown hasn't necessarily been the most stellar set, but it did add a handful of tech cards and unique things like the Noctowl that you could add to some decks, but it's a lot of the same recycled information. I think we have some cool deck profiles coming out. I just covered Hydrapple, and I think next week we're going to cover the Terapagos EX build of the deck alongside just a Terapagos EX archetype, I should say. And we're also going to be covering over Cinderace EX, I believe, on Tuesday. So stay tuned for a lot of cool stuff alongside with some TSS lives of both some kind of mainstream decks and also some rogue decks. We have Dortmund and Joinville regionals coming up, so those are going to be the first time we're going to see Stellar Crown legal outside of Japan. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Okay. Earthen Vessel. Yeah, and I really don't see how, like, our opponent can't draw multiple prize cards with their deck right now, or multiple extra prize cards, I should say. They could definitely draw two prize cards by knocking out Palkia, but we should just be able to clear this game off, at least with Blissey. If not the Terapagos, doing 30 for each of my bench Pokemon. And with Noctowl and Boss in hand, and as long as our opponent doesn't play Judge or Iono or any other disruption card, I think we're big chillin'. So there is that Judge that is going to shut down what we have going on here. And we have Boss's Orders. I think Boss's Orders clears this game right up, allowing us to attack next turn with Blissey EX, Blissey EX. We could use Happy Switch, knockout Squawkabilly EX. I also think we could have got all the cards necessary for Terapagos, right? To get the full knockout. We only need to have, I mean, to be fair, we also only need to do 30 damage to win this game. So we really don't need too much. But had we need to draw extra prize cards or knock out multiple Pokemon, we could have got there. So let's not waste any time. Let's just go ahead, use our Happy Switch ability. We're going to move the energy to the active. And since our opponent damaged us and knocked out our Palkia, we're just able to go return. Return's also a great way to draw some late game cards, considering this deck is kind of playing out of its hands after you use all your Noctowls and stuff. So a really cool way to play. we take the dub against the Roaring Moon deck, and we'll see exactly how Palkia does in the Stellar Crown format. I think it's super interesting. And that's what we got going on with our video today. Hopefully you learned a thing about this Palkia Area Zero Underdepths kind of concept. And I think it's going to be really cool to kind of work this deck out as the metagame kind of goes forward with Stellar Crown. I can imagine a lot of people are really interested in playing this returning, but also new archetype to our metagame. If you're looking to learn anything more about Pokemon, I do have my Discord server that I have in the description, so you could join there, kind of start a discussion. I also offer one-on-one Pokemon coaching if you're trying to up your game. Currently ranked as one of the top players in North America, so if you're ever trying to up your game, hit me up. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned for more great content from Shuffle. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.